Bliss Love and Lavender, my beautiful royal family. This is the Goddess Seek Coaching, where I help beautiful women just like yourself get into peak state. And today I'm your host, Nubia Kamisha Sade, and today we
Ooh,
have the beautiful G, the beauty genius
genius.
building. Okay, give it up for your girl. Today, we're going to have a great conversation of going from healing to healed and what that actually looks like and how you can animate that in your world and really remove the ideal, the concept, and even the habit of looking backwards. So, we're going to talk about that today. So, G,
Whew.
tell me, what was it that I would say triggered you to have this thought like, okay, I need to really move myself in the direction of healed and claim that, animate that, embody that, and not have moments where I do look back or have those resentful thoughts. Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
So I just really started to notice my emotional triggers. Like, okay, I'm feeling these emotions, but in my physical reality, I don't have any reasons to be feeling that way. So I'm noticing I'm having an emotional response to something that I'm not experiencing right now. And it's like it could be like a trauma situation or like just any negative situation that I've experienced in life. And I'm like, okay, but this is not happening right now. Like you've made sure that you have a very peaceful and harmonious container, so you don't, so why are you even feeling this, right? And then I noticed that, like, okay, I know this, right? And then I notice I start to look for reasons to feel that way, like whether it's through a relationship, whether it's through like a person or from my past or like whatever. It's like, why are you looking to feel this way when you shoot that out of your life.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, can you give me an example? Give me like an example.
An
Real.
example is, okay, let's say, okay, I just had a baby recently, right? And so I've been, on my health journey and on like my fitness journey. And me personally, when I look at a woman that like looks like me, even if it's like not me, and I see like a curvy woman, but she's like very, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty, and like she's really, and I can't take my eyes off of her, right? But I don't, it's maybe something like being purged out of my subconscious, right? I'll go around a family member or something like that, and they'll be like, oh, like say if I'm just wearing say if I'm not all the way done up around them, they'll just be like, oh, like start nitpicking or just being like, oh, like criticism, like criticizing like my body or something like that or my look, which they love me. I'm pretty sure like they don't mean any harm, but it's just like stuff like that when like I love how I look in my body. And yes, I recognize, yes, I was insecure at one point. And yes, there are things that I would still like to work on about my body. But like for me to be like, for me to be feeling triggered when someone like criticizes my body or criticizes how I look is like, why are you feeling triggered when you know that's not like you, that's not true, and that has nothing to do with you, really? You know what I'm saying? You know how you feel about you. So like, why is that a thing for you?
Mm.
Like, why is it triggering?
So after you have the trigger, what is the second thought in your mind? Do it go back to when you were maybe a little bit more insecure? Do it go back to maybe body before baby? Does it go back to
Body before baby is really what it goes back to. That's what it really goes back to. And that's a whole nother story. It's just, it's so much. It's so
okay.
much.
So triggers pretty much brings you back to something that you that reminded you of this trigger in so many ways. So
Yeah.
And then what happens after that? Like after you think of like, dang, this is how my body was before baby boy, but I love baby boy, no resentment there. What happens after that usually? What thought goes in next?
Oh my God, it's like I look at those pictures and I go like, oh my God, my body was like perfect. Like if I had that body right now, like that would be perfect. But then I think of my mindset at that time when I had that body and I felt not good. Like I did not feel like beautiful like that. Like I didn't feel like, I didn't feel supported. I knew that I had like, okay, yeah. But like the relationships, the community that I had around me, like did not make me feel like I should be confident, that I should be secure within myself, that I should be, feeling like really beautiful and sexy.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad. Like the fact that like, I I worked to have this body. And then like my community was like just really harsh and just like really just not supportive of like my physical beauty. Like, what's up with that?
Give me one feature or body part that has been the most talked about or triggering when someone talks about
Let's say feature. It would
feature, body
probably be my
part.
it would probably be my backside, like my booty,
Okay.
but I mean, or maybe my thighs. Maybe my thighs. Let's do that. Let's
Okay.
do that.
Okay, so the thighs. So
Yeah.
trigger happens, right? Someone says something about your thighs or something along those lines, and you get the image in your mind of, body before baby.
Mm-hmm.
Just write this down. And then from there, you think of, okay, body before baby. And then you think of your body being pretty much perfect, as you mentioned, right? Perfect. But then you go deeper and you say, well, I wasn't happy mentally there. So
Yeah.
I wasn't happy. The people around me didn't really support me, or, they didn't provide me with the space for me to shine in that beauty that I was, or that perfect body.
Yeah.
So then what's the thought that happens next after that?
It's like me me realizing that like throughout my life, psychologically, emotionally, and like mentally, I was not like raised with the values that would help me like self-preserve and love myself through difficult situations when it came to like like just my image, my self-image.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I would like I really don't care to have my body perfect how it was like that before, because now I feel that I have built up like my emotional and psychological mental, you
Mhm.
know, I guess you could say structure that like it doesn't matter how I'm looking, nobody's gonna be able to like come disrespect me,
Yeah.
like violate me, or just be weird towards me, not make me feel supported, not make me feel loved. Like that's just not happening.
Okay.
So
Okay. So let me ask
call it one.
you, yeah, yeah, for sure. And thank you for sharing that with me. That makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
so what emotion do you feel when you get to the point where you are like, okay, you're thinking of the concepts, the thought process of how you grew up, and then also the maybe lack of awareness or even being shown that you're beautiful and your body is beautiful. What happens after you have the thought of, well, I love who I am now? What's the emotion that you feel after that? Is it like back to your regulated nervous system? Is it almost feeling like you're just kind of suppressing it, but you're being motivated and positive at the same time? Does it feel 100% liberating? What are some of the
I
feelings?
was gonna say I was gonna say it feels like freedom. It feels like liberation because now I don't need to be so hard on myself and critical on myself when it comes to things like my body. Like I just had a kid. So of course, like my body's gonna look different. So and if we're being honest, like me having a perfect body and being what people wanted to see, I guess. But it didn't stop me from being like hurt in relationships. It didn't stop me from being like disappointed in relationships. It didn't stop any of those things. So like I
Well,
think I think that I'm doing pretty good right now with building like my inner structure
yeah, yeah, yeah.
rather than like so critical about an outer structure. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me ask you this, the trigger, because what I'm doing is I'm creating you an emotional trigger wheel. So that way you can be able to see this circle and then we can do some pattern interruptions to help nurture the trigger, right? Because sometimes we can have these feelings of I'll give you an example. When I was about maybe 11 years old, I was watching my little brother. I was pretty much babysitting him, but we were both at the Boys and Girls Club. And he wanted to play pool, but he was really, really young. And I was like, brother, no, brother, no. So he didn't listen to me. And I went down to tie my shoe. Okay. And as I'm tying my shoe, I come up. And at the time where my face goes from looking down to looking up, pat a pool ball straight to my face. Bust my lip, knocked my tooth. Tragic. Most traumatic thing, right, in my life.
Oh my
And
god.
so that was years and years and years ago. However, sometime I'll get the feeling and the sensation and the anxiousness that something's getting ready to hit me in my face. And so what I have to do is in pattern interrupt that thought process and create a safe space for me
Oh,
energetically. So
that makes sense.
these emotional triggers, since we know what happens after the thought, after the trigger, after the thought, after that thought, and that thought, we can pattern interrupt. So let's create this quick re wheel really quickly. Any thoughts?
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. So after the so after I like
So first,
oh
you got
I
first,
lost it.
that's okay. That's okay. And I'm gonna provide you with a whole entire chart after this. Don't worry. I have
Okay.
a whole course on this,
Oh
right?
my,
So it's called Master Your Emotional Triggers.
wow. Okay.
Yes. So, okay, so the trigger, right? So the trigger will happen. That could be a woman walks by and she has maybe a body that is inspiring to you, but you do get this body before baby glimpse in your mind of how your body looked before. And then you maybe think about going to the gym and maybe how you haven't been so consistent, or maybe trying a new tea, or you just all these solutions integrated with past, integrated with trigger, just starts to create this stew, right?
Yeah.
And so trigger happens. After that, we have a what we call flashback. hmm
Mm, mm.
And then after the flashback, we think of why life is better, right? This is the redirect, right? We think of, okay, well, why was life, well, life is better now. So the redirect, which is pretty much just reminding yourself that you're good where you are. And then from there, you think about the you give yourself grace and compassion, like, okay, I wasn't brought up knowing XYZ, right? And then from there, you said you feel free, you feel liberated, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we got trigger, flashback, redirect, grace, compassion, and then liberation. That's
Yes.
a pretty solid emotional cycle because
What?
absolutely, because the thing about it is we have these triggers memories that the body, the mind, the soul, the spirit have felt. There
Mm.
may be energetic and spiritual triggers that you may experience that probably came from your mom. The thing is, it's not about trying to get rid of the triggers so hard and so bad. It's
Mhm.
about how we nurture and condition ourselves to say, okay, this is our new life, and this is how we are safe. This is why we are safe. So, for an example, when I get the kinesthetic, because it was kinesthetic trauma that happened, so I get this kinesthetic feel. It's nothing that anyone says, but it's more so when I'm maybe at the gym and I have weights in front of my face, or my daughter's super close to me with something hard, right? In
Right.
my
I get
face,
that.
or just some, yes, just something like that. I sensationally, from a physical standpoint, I feel something getting ready to happen to me, right? So what I do is I redirect in that moment at that actual emotional trigger. I tell myself, you're safe. You're safe.
Mm.
You're safe. You're good. I then move away from the situation or from the hard object, right? Or sometimes I'll keep myself in the experience just so that way I can give myself more memories and more experiences of me being safe with hard objects close to my face.
Right.
I
Right.
went, yes, I went bowling. Me and my daughter went bowling the other day, and she, again, hard ball. I'm like, what's up with all these hard balls?
But what's
Right?
up? What's up? Don't
Hard balls, right? And so she has this ball, and I'm just like, oh gosh, right?
say it.
And I kept myself in the experience because I really just wanted to walk away. I'm like, we can play in the arcade.
Yeah.
Kept myself in the experience, and I gave myself the assurance and the affirmation, you're safe, you're safe, you're safe. Now,
Mm.
since I am familiarizing my body kinesthetically, with me being safe around hard balls, I'm able to maneuver through that emotional trigger, and the experience lasts maybe 2 seconds instead of 20 minutes, instead of 2 days, instead of, 2 months.
Right. I see. Hmm. Wow.
Yes. So
Wow.
let's talk about because I'm gonna give you a takeaway from this.
Okay.
Let's talk about the before I move forward. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I was actually just thinking about more reasons why I would be like feeling those emotional triggers. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an emotional memory in the body. We remember
Yeah.
emotions. You know how they say a person may not remember everything you say, but they'll always remember how you make them feel.
Yeah.
Because emotions, we remember emotions more than anything,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
And so if you have in your emotional body, because we have a physical body and we also have an emotional body, if your emotional body remembers maybe insecurity or resentment, when you get triggered, that emotion that was nowhere to be found when you were doing your yoga, when you were doing your dance, when you were at a goddess retreat, when you were doing your
Mhm.
makeup, nowhere to
Exactly.
be found. But all of a sudden, where you come from? Um, did I let
Well,
you in?
did I let you in?
Did I let you
Seriously.
in? How did you get in here? How did you get in here? Right? So
Right.
I say that to say, because the emotional body holds memories, it's not about trying to forget and suppress the memories. It's about creating new memories and writing new
No.
stories for ourselves. Oftentimes, when we are evolving and we are transforming, we have this thing where we compare. I want to get back to my body before a baby, or I remember having a client, she said, I just want to get back to who I was before I was in this relationship. I just want to get back. I just want to get back. The truth is, there is no getting back to. You don't go for, when you walk down the street, you don't walk backwards. You're walking
Right.
forward, right? When you're driving in the car, you're only reversing so that way you can course correct, revisit. Okay, the trigger only happens so that way you can revisit a moment and provide yourself with the validation, the nurturing, the attention that's necessary for you to keep moving forward, right? So these triggers are no longer pesky little things that come to try to interrupt the show and cock block and all of these things that we think, these emotional triggers are here, excuse me, are here so that way we can be able to give ourselves the supervision, support, and the nurturing, the SSN, right? The supervision, the support, and the nurturing that we need so that way we can create this new normal. And like you said, this healed life. These are the stories we're giving ourselves. We don't remember everything, we remember how we feel. We remember memories of how we feel. And if you give yourself more memories of how you feel in your body now, you'll less and less and less think about your body prior. After having my daughter,
Woo.
definitely changed, right? Flexibility changed, aesthetically changed. I had a cesarean, right? Scar there. Whoa, what is going on? How did my body just change so much, right?
Yes.
Nursed, breast changed. All these things changed so fast. And so
Mhm.
I used to compare and even work out with the thought in my mind, I'm gonna get back to how I was. I'm gonna get back to how I was. And I realized that it was doing the opposite. It was doing the opposite of liberating myself
Mhm.
because I could never get back to who I was because I'm not hurt anymore. I
Yep.
could never get back to the body before the baby because I am who I am now. When I release that, when I release that title, that thought, that image, I started to take care of this new body and nurture this new body as a new body. And can I tell you, my body looks better
Yes.
than what it did before baby.
Yes. Yes.
A lot
Yes.
of
Yes.
it has to do with the radiance that come off the body from the confidence, from the
Mhm.
nurturing, from
Mhm.
the endearment, adornment,
Yes. Yes. That's right.
that embodiment.
Wow. Love that. I love that. That was the part that I had needed, right? Because I had always knew ever since I gave birth, I knew my body was not going back to how it was. So I never really put that in my mind, but I will always hear like outer people saying, like, oh, body, body going back. And I would even tell them, your body's never gonna go back. Or I don't remember who specifically would say that to me, but probably one of my girl cousins or something. But your body's never gonna go back. My body's never going back. But as far as like creating new memories and then giving myself that self validation, like even when I look in the mirror and stuff like that, nurturing the new body as a new body. Because let me tell you, this new body, I have done a lot of things that I like dreamt of doing when I was a little girl in this body right now. I'm like, and I literally had to say, because no hate to my mama, I love her. I know she just be trying to, whatever. But she was the one that had did this trigger, and I had to tell her, Mom, I had to text her on after Valentine's Day, and I had to say, Mom, this body is a body that I love. I've done a lot of things that I dreamt of doing in this body. So like, I mean, I don't feel a bad way about it, and I don't feel that I need to be harsh or be critical on myself to do anything that I don't feel like doing right now, you know?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I yeah. So this is that I need to really amp that part up. Like, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I can use that as
Memories.
fuel. I
You
can use
can
that as
do.
fuel.
Absolutely. And give her a name.
Give her a new
Give her
yay.
a name. Give her a name and show her like I like you.
Yes.
I'm on your team,
Yes. That's
right? And
it.
just, of course, the body touching and the affirmation and all of those things, doing
Yes.
that intentionally, where it's not just like, oh, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, but taking the time the next time you moisturize yourself, looking at every single speckle of your body. loving
Mhm.
and adoring it. And if it is something that you want to work on or tone or whatever the case may be, speak that into her. Like, girl, I love you. Ooh, these thighs. Ooh, these thighs save lives. Okay, these are juicy and I love them. And girl, you know what?
Yeah.
You want to tone together? You want to tone together? 'Cause we can tone
We
together.
don't.
We can tone it up. Are we outside this summer or what? I mean, asking you. Just asking you, right? It's a
Yes,
relationship.
it is. It
So when
is.
we realize,
And
oh my goodness, everything is about having this relationship with ourselves,
mhm.
able to be real about things that we want to change, but we don't have to do it in a way where it's like, oh, I gotta hear up, get in the gym. Oh man, I hate my stomach. Oh man, I gotta do this. Oh man, I gotta tone this. No, it's like, hey, what we doing?
Right.
Like your
Like
home girl.
exactly. It literally is your home, girl, for women. Like this is your home. So it's like I just can't imagine feeling like harsh or like critical or just like any type of negative way that like I am purposely doing. Like so basically I guess it's just like cutting out the subconscious chatter of like the
Absolutely.
negativities and really focusing on what what matters to me, which
Yeah.
is loving my body in every form because it's gonna transform again.
It
You
will.
know?
It will.
So
We don't know what's in your future.
yes,
We don't know what's in your future. Well, we do know what's in your future is greatness,
yes, that's right.
destiny. Okay. But it could
That's right.
be more children. It could be you being a supermodel. It could be who knows, right?
Exactly.
So to just know that, okay, it's less about my physical appearance. It's more about the relationship that I have with my body. Because
Yes.
the relationship with your body goes beyond your physical appearance. It's like, okay, when I'm moving throughout life and I catch it and I'm in the cold and I feel like my throat is hurting and I'm getting sick, I know how to reverse that thought and that energetically and then physically, just
Mm-hmm.
like that, I start feeling better. That's the relationship that we have with our body, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
sprain something or something happens to your body, right? You can put yourself in a healing mode and say, oh, we're going to heal. Oh,
Yep.
we healing. That's what we doing. Right? And
Mm-hmm.
because you have this relationship with your body knows your voice. Your voice is the loudest, not the doctor, not the family member. Your voice
Yeah.
is the loudest. So it's only gonna listen to your command. It's only gonna listen to your voice.
Yes.
So it's up to you to cultivate that home and that relationship for her to get
Mm,
comfortable with your voice. Because she
yeah.
wants to hear from you. She want to hear from you, right? Your
You
body wants to
do.
hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
love I
Absolutely.
love it. I love it. That was what I need. That was like the missing part that I had needed. So I'm like, I don't want to be, conceited and things like that. But I need to stop doing that because then it does not put me in the optimal space to like command,
Mm.
like you said. Um,
Yeah, and you have to think
yeah,
about it like this too. What about you loving yourself, you seeing yourself, right? You giving yourself validation makes it conceited. Why are we as women, this is something for us to really think about. Why are we as women so concerned with coming off the wrong way when we think
mm,
of advancing the love that we have for ourselves? It's
right.
like this instinctual, and it all just comes from the programming that's been, programmed for I don't know how long, right? But
Yes.
it's the as soon as it's time for us to make a change, and I'm gonna fix this in a minute, but as
Mhm.
soon as it's time for us to make a change, and as soon as it's time for us to do something and evolve, we think of how is the world going to perceive us? Why? Is because a woman was always told who she should be. Don't be too smart. You're going to intimidate people. Oh, don't be too pretty. You're going to seem airheaded. Oh, don't do this. Don't do that. Oh, you're expressing yourself. Oh, you're a mad black woman. Oh, you're not expressing yourself. Oh, you're a pushover. Oh, all of these different ways we've been
Yeah.
taught to show up. So when we want to show up in our way, through our authenticity, We have all of these voices. I call it cheap chatter. All of this cheap chatter that comes in and rat-a-tat-tat and rat-a-tat and rat-a-tat.
Yes, that's exactly it. And all of those points that you literally.
We think of showing up in our authenticity, showing up in our way.
Yep.
We have to ensure that we serve that chatter and we put a label on it. Name that chatter as chat. Oh, this is that. Oh, that's just chatter. Mhm.
Ooh,
Serve
yeah.
that chatter. Name it. Put a name to that. When you put a name to it, you can detach yourself from, oh, I'm in my head. No, that's just cheap chatter.
That's cheap chat. That's the monkey. What do they call it? They also call it monkey
Monkey
brain.
brain or something like that.
Yeah.
I call it cheap chatter because it's a little bit more sophisticated.
Yeah, and I like that. I gotta find what my name's gonna be for that.
Yeah, or whatever it is, put a name to it. You can even call it cheap chatter, right? A lot of my clients do, but put a name to it and label it for what it is. So that way, when the thoughts come, but that's going to be alleviated and it's going to lessen as you grow and evolve, right? But as they come, when they come, you know how to name them and then serve them. Name them and move them right on to where they need to go, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is, you know what? Are these my thoughts right now? Is this my voice?
Mm.
Is this my, and ask yourself out loud.
Is this my voice when I'm having those intrusive thoughts that really don't have nothing to do with me, right? Don't
Mhm.
have nothing to do
Is
with
this
me.
my voice? Are these my thoughts? Is this my voice? Are these my thoughts right now? Do these belong to me? Is this under, is this under like, is this genius? Excuse me, is this G the Beauty Genius LLC right now speaking? Who's here? Hello.
Oh my God. Hello.
Did somebody
Oh,
just call me or put speakerphone? I don't understand.
no, for real. Like, what signal is this?
Hello?
Yay.
Who is this?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is
This
that
is the.
childhood memory. Okay, this is the childhood
Uh,
memory. Thank you so much for calling
mhm.
me and reminding me that I should nurture myself when I feel triggered. Thank you.
Amen.
Appreciate that. Now I'm gonna need you to go ahead on and just alleviate yourself and just know that we're safe and you don't have to keep coming up. But if you do, when you do, I'm gonna always give you love. Mwah. Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes. I'll go and get out of here. Yeah. I like that.
Bye.
And
Thank you so much because you're just wanting to help me. When I
yes.
get that trigger of something getting ready to hit my face, my body just want to keep me safe because my body
Yep.
remember the surgeries and all that. My body remembers that. So it's just like, hey, hey,
Yep.
hey, back up, back up, back up, back up. It's valid. I don't need to
Mhm.
suppress, oh, I'm tripping, I'm triggered. No, hey, you safe. And
You say,
let me show you
let me show you.
safe.
Yes.
And that's the key.
Yes.
And that's the piece right there.
That's what it is. That is exactly what it is. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, this is a game changer. That's a game changer. Truly. Oh my God. It's just like, oh, and so, right. So I had been doing all this inner work, how I've been telling you, right? And so really using my senses to like put the nail in the head of like, okay, we're done with this chapter of life. There is no going back. There is no, we're moving forward, honey. We have a lot to look forward to. And so, yeah, I have physically been putting those intentions into my food, into my water, into like just thinking of those things and visualizing even when I'm cooking, things like that to help me get into like that optimal like peak state. You know what I'm saying? Using my words, looking up my birth chart, interpreting my birth chart, using a little bit of AI, your little chatty patties. I use a little bit of her too. But and she really it has been it's like a new I don't know, like a new thing going on. It's a whole new thing. Everything is new going on right now. Yes. Wait, hold on. I cannot hear you.
You're reinventing yourself.
I'm reinventing myself, but not in an authentic way. This is all authentic, and I'm using the stars to do it as well. Like this is a part of my destiny, like my cosmic destiny. Like ever since since before I was born. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
it feels good. It feels great.
Well,
And thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it feels great, and I couldn't have done it without a beautiful reflection like you. Honestly, honestly, and it has been very like tiring on my physical body, but I wouldn't have it like any other way. And I know that's going to go away as I keep on exercising this muscle. But I did just have to put all of that out there.
Yeah. Great job. Great job. You're doing
Yeah.
amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the emotional trigger workshop.
Okay.
And what you're going to be able to do is cultivate your own wheel of emotional trigger and be able to course correct as you go. So that
Okay.
these emotional triggers are not tormentors. They are just reminders and invitations to tap in and to nurture and to give yourself that validation and that new memory, that new title, that new
Mhm.
experience of, okay, this is what we're doing, and this is how we do it.
Yeah. How we do it? Oh, oh, oh. Yes. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
So, any questions before we gather and complete this today's session? Any questions for me?
No. Like you always just it's so thorough and it's just everything that I be needing, it's just right then up in there. So you just hit it on the nail on the head every time. I don't know how you do it. But I'm good. No questions.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, YouTube, for watching. This has been another episode of Goddessy Coaching. What resonated with you? I want to hear from you in the comments. Comment down below. If you love seeing this beautiful transformation, like this video, subscribe to this channel. And again, let me know in the comments what resonated with you. Do you have emotional triggers where they come up and you don't know what to do with them? How are you going to move forward? How are you now going to label them? Let me know in a comment. And we'll be seeing you on the next Gotta See Coaching. And G, you're doing amazing. Bigger up in the comments, y'all. Talk soon.